welcome to Athar's Garage. In this video, I'll be working on the Yokomo RD 1.0, step 13, 14, and 15, which is the rear hub carrier assembly, the rear hub carrier installation, and the rear arm installation. So let's get started. So we're going to need the parts left over from bag number 8, and we're going to need parts from bag number 1 for step 13. For step 14 and 15, we're going to need bag number 9 as well. So let's go ahead and get everything ready. So we're going to be using the supplemental manual for steps 13 and 14. That's what's showing up in my kit, is that there's some changes for those steps, so we're going to use that. So let's get the rear hubs off the parts tree. So the rear hubs are directional, so there is a left side and a right side. It doesn't show any markings on here, so it looks like in the manual we're going to be working with the left side, and then it says to assemble the right hand side in the same manner. So this is the left side hub, so you can see that the area where the ball stud installs is going to face the front of the vehicle, and then the hub is offset to the rear, and we have our outside of the car, inside of the car. And luckily our axles are already assembled. We're going to need to install the ball studs. We're going to need the long ball studs that were in bag 8, along with the 3mm washer or spacer, and we're going to install it from the rear of the car, so on the hub side, and it's going to install in the lowest hole in the center, so right here is where we're going to install it. So now we can install our bearings. It's a 5x10 by 2 bearing that goes on the outside, and a 10x5x2 bearing that goes on the inside. Okay, so then we can go ahead and install our axle, then our wheel hub pin. Can kind of install and leave in place while we grab our wheel hubs or hexes. We're going to use the thin ones off the parts tree from bag 1. So we're going to get these 2 out, trimmed, and then we can install it. Okay, so take note of the cutouts on the wheel hex. The pin is going to install in those, so we can just go ahead and line it up and snap it on, just like so. Then we're going to go ahead and just install the nylon nut so nothing falls off, and that's ready to install onto the arm now. So we're going to do the same thing for the right side. So we have our right side hub. We're going to install our long ball stud with 3mm spacer in the center lowest most hole. Then we'll go ahead and install our bearings. Our axle. Our wheel hub pin, along with our wheel hub. And lastly, our wheel nut. There we go. So we have our right side. So that's it for step 13. We can go ahead and open up bag number 9 now and grab the parts that we need to install the hub onto the suspension arm. So we're going to need our ball studs. It's an interesting looking ball stud. We'll need the shorter of the suspension arm pins. And we're also going to need the arms. And we'll just take everything off the parts tree, but we're just going to need the arms for step 14. All right, so the arms are directional. I don't see any markings on there, but it shows we're going to be assembling the left side first. So this is the left side arm. We have this hole. We have the 3 holes for the ball stud. And then on the bottom, you see that there's a cutout where the hinge pin's going to go. So that's how you can tell the orientation, like so. So this is the left-hand side. So we're also going to need 2 M2x4 button head screws. So we're going to go ahead and grab those from the hardware bag. All right, now we have everything that we need. We're going to install the ball stud in the center location. So let's go ahead and do that. So next we're going to take our left side wheel hub assembly and we're going to install it. So it looks like the ball stud is going to face the same side as this ball stud. So we're going to install our outer suspension arm pin, and it's going to go through the arm and the hub and just sit in there. And then we're going to install the M2x4 button head screw in this small hole right here, and that'll capture the pin so it doesn't fall out. So let's go ahead and do the right side as well. Both ball studs are facing the same direction. So we have our right side and our left side. So that's it for step 14. They're gonna look like this for now. Now we're gonna move on to step 15, which is gonna be installation of these assemblies onto the chassis. So we have our chassis, we have our right arm and left arm. We need the longer suspension pins on both sides, along with 2 spacers on both sides. And then we need our suspension pin balls. There's gonna install 2 on each side. So additionally to the items in bag 9, we're also going to need the suspension mount 45.7 millimeters, which is in bag number 1, along with 2 M3x10 flathead screws. So let's go ahead and grab those. So this is the 45.7 off the parts tree in bag 1. So let's get this off and trimmed. So we can go ahead and install the suspension pin balls in the suspension mount. We're then going to go ahead and install the suspension pins. It looks like we're going to install the arms forward, so we're going to install the 2 spacers on both sides. Then we can install the suspension arms. along with the last two suspension pinballs. So now we're going to install this assembly. The suspension pinballs are going to install in here and in here. So we can put that together, and then we will screw in the two M3 by 10 flathead screws from the bottom to hold everything in place. And so now we can flip it over, and we're going to install the two M3 by 10 flathead screws in this hole and in this hole. All right, there we go. The suspension arms move nice and free. Now we can go ahead and pop on the ball cups, but take note how the ball cups are going to install. There's an offset to the ball cup, and we want the offset portion to be closer to the ball. So I'm going to double check to make sure mine are in the correct orientation, and they are. So make sure you install your dog bones into the out drives of your rear differential, and then you can pop on the ball cups. And it says to install a little bit of grease on the axles, but I don't want to do that because it's just going to attract a bunch of dirt and accelerate the wear, so I'm going to kind of run it dry. But everything moves nice and free. You can see everything, the ball cups are installed, the axles are in the out drives. So there we go. So that's it for steps 13, 14, and 15, which was the rear hub assembly and installation of the rear suspension arms. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe if you did. Let me know down in the comments if you have any issues or any tips. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one.